Today I would like to talk about historical trauma, recovery model through intergenerational communication, transformative exchange between generations through peace education at school and Gyeongwon. Okay, next. Actually, this island view. Can you see them? It's a Halla mountain from our hometown. Okay, next. Yeah. This is my hometown, my father's hometown, and okay. This is his house, and he student. Yeah. I would like to name the sad experience of the boy's hometown, Chungsu as Chungsu Arirang. Okay. The boy's home. His memory is about this house, around this house, and in his village. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah. His photos when he was a middle school student. Okay. Next. Actually, I would like to talk about why I develop this model through international communication. Second, the historical model process, and third, transformative change between generations through peace education at school and Yadri Center, Gyeongwon. Actually, Gyeongwon Yadri Center has there are 16,000 in Korea. Actually, in Jeju, 400 Gyeongwon Yadri centers in every village. And fourth, last one, the conclusion historical trauma recovery practice model. I will show you. Okay, next. I have a lot of contents, and then you have to quick. This is model. I would like to talk about. Actually, I did. I conducted from many level, system level, and second, first individual approach at micro level, second experimental approach, third analytical approach at the macro level, and chrono level. Chrono level means time level. Fourth, practical approach at exo level, and last, the comparative approach with ERI. ERI is Dr. Haesung Jongbo, East Rock Institute at the Whitney Center, and Yale University at the Passy in Pennsylvania. Yeah, okay, next. Yeah, okay, yeah. Why did I develop this model through intergenerational communication? Okay, next. And actually, what is this? Okay. This is my father's first drawing. My father felt depressed at the age of 75. Asked me to listen to my story, and I asked my father first question: Dad, what is the saddest memory in your life? Can you describe it on this sketchbook? And I gave him a marker pen and a sketchbook. To my surprise, my father immediately started drawing without any hesitation, drawing an old man in his hometown being beaten by a Japanese police officer during the Japanese colonial period, and a boy shaking with fear as he watched the beating in left drawing. And I was surprised in 3 points. First, he drew so well. I didn't see him draw because he was a farmer all his life. And second, my father had such a very sad and painful memories. I didn't know that. Third, it was about the vivid history about my hometown. I had never seen anywhere while studying. Okay, next. Okay, next. Then, instead of a marker pen and sketchbook, I gave him a Korean traditional paper and ink and a brush for calligraphy. That's why he started drawing his memories. Okay, he's drawing. Okay. Actually, my initial goal of my research, actually at the time my goal was to help my father to ventilate his depressed feeling. But I got the new findings. I didn't know about my father at all, and I didn't know about myself or my ancestors' hometowns and history. And father's drawing made me open my eyes to who I am, who am I. And before my father's drawing, I didn't have any concern about Jeju forestry issue. Okay, next page. Okay, his drawing. He drew for 6 years. Okay, next. He cried, sobbed, wailed over drawings for 6 years. And he had a very good chance to have an exhibition at Jeju Forestry Peace Park in 2010. Okay, and he had a very good chance because actually he ventilated his anxiety in private and also in very public, because this is a very public place, and that's why I'm talking about that. Okay, yeah. Okay, next. And individual approach at micro level. Actually, the exhibition titled "I Would Like to Fly Like an Eagle" in 2010. Many scholars were interested in the drawings of my father's. One day, Professor Ko Chang over there asked me, submit an article about my father's drawings for an article, and then I got to think of my research question related to my father's drawings. My first research questions about individual approach at micro level. And the first one, is it possible to help a person with a Jeju forestry traumatic memory to ventilate the emotional dormant for more than 60 years? Second, which is better for this purpose, verbal expression or non-verbal expression? Third, is the psychosocial approach applicable for the Jeju forestry trauma? Okay, next one. And I got findings. First one, okay, it is possible to help traumatized to ventilate his trauma emotion. And second, actually both verbal and non-verbal expressions should be utilized. Third, actually psychosocial approach was found to be very useful method. And after that, I got a new research question. It could be replicable for elderly persons with Jeju forestry trauma other than my father. I needed to expand my research question. Okay. And additional findings from the result of psychosocial approach. First, I found two important additional findings during our conversation over drawings. First, through twice public exhibition, my father seems to have very lucky to have recovered his self-esteem and dignity in public. It's a very important. And second, I got to realize the problem was in myself. It was anxiety I discovered in myself while preparing for the exhibition. Then what is this anxiety? I defined this anxiety myself as a historical trauma, and it will be another research question. Next step, okay. And I try to expand my research question, and I am teaching at Jeju National University, and I would like to conduct this research. And my second research question is, this is for very social practice program design. First, how about the other family in Jeju? They have trauma like my family. Second, is the short-term psychological application model trauma replicable? After that, I got a new research question. It could be replicable for elderly persons with Jeju forestry trauma other than my father. I needed to expand my research question. Okay. And additional findings from the result of psychosocial approach. First, I found two important additional findings during our conversation over drawings. First, through twice public exhibition, my father seems to have very lucky to have recovered his self-esteem and dignity in public. It's a very important. And second, I got to realize the problem was in myself. It was anxiety I discovered in myself while preparing for the exhibition. Then what is this anxiety? I defined this anxiety myself as a historical trauma, and it will be another research question. Next step, okay? And I try to expand my research question, and I am teaching at Jeju National University, and I would like to conduct this research. And my second research question is, this is for very social practice program design. First, how about the other family in Jeju? They have trauma like my family. Second, is the short-term psychological application model trauma replicable to other family? Second, third, is it possible to change the students through interviewing with their grandparents to explore for their identity as I did? Fourth, how about tools? Which tools are better for other family? Okay, next one. Okay, this one more, and then this was at meso level, and one more. And I conducted experimental approach at the meso level at Jeju National University. Okay, next one. And actually, I designed my research, and then the program goal was transformational change between generation is possible. The sub goal for grandparents, second sub goal for grandchildren. Okay, and next one. Okay, next. We are quick this photos here. Yeah, at the Jeju National University with the students here. Okay, yeah, this is a very good program. Yeah, okay, next one. Quick, so many photos here. Yeah. Okay, I designed it. Yeah. Okay, one more. So many. Last one. Yeah. Okay, this one. And then experimental approach of psychosocial model and the model and for transformational change between generation, and actually effective evaluation for grandparents. They could evoke their depressed emotions. For grandchildren, they reported their attitude change in thought, feelings, and attitude and action too. Next one. Findings from experimental approach first. Most of the students' grandparents have anxiety related to Jeju firstly trauma like my father. And second, other short-term application can help the elderly Jeju Sasam trauma to ventilate their sad feelings. Third, those students reported that they discussed their own identity through conversations with their grandparents. Fourth, which tools, and they used a lot of tools, puppet play, and watching albums or films, drumming, etc. Additional findings, actually my experimental approach at class got two more additional findings from experimental approaches. First, peace education effect I got, and second, finding historical trauma common to Jeju family or all over Jeju. Okay, next one. And third, next, I conducted analytical approach at macro level and chrono level because everybody in Jeju has the same kind of historical trauma, and I needed to conduct analytical approach. Why? Next one. Yeah, next one. Yeah, at macro level and research question: what is the anxiety flowing to the first and second and third generations? Identify what this anxiety common to Jeju people is. Where does it come from? And second, what power made this collective stigma common to Jeju over Korean history? And I defined that this common anxiety comes from collective stigma and anxiety at the chrono level and macro level. And I decided to analyze actually legal system and newspapers actually. And I decided to analyze neighbor news library, and I analyzed 5 newspapers. Okay, next one. Okay, next. And I analyzed the Central Daily newspaper reported on Jeju for 3 since 1945, and the neighbor news library site allows me to search 5 daily newspapers. Anyway, my keywords was Jeju incident and Jeju for 3. The results showed that 경향, 동아, 조선, and 매일경제 and newspaper reported Jeju for 3 incident as a riot. But in 1989, the 한겨레 신문 began reporting it as the Jeju Foski uprising. Okay, next one. Next. Yeah. Actually, naming can create collective stigma. Okay, next one. Why didn't name? Okay, this one. Korean legal system related to Jeju Foski at time system, chrono system. And actually killed by association system, Act 연좌제법, and censorship made Jeju people anxiety more than 60 years. And actually killed by association system law was abolished in 1981, but continued in operation until very recently. That's one. Actually, Jeju people experienced the considerable inequality in job selection and school selection and travel, etc. And safety was blocked at all systems to most Jeju people. And anxiety to be checked or censorship all the time was still locked in our unconsciousness and consciousness. This censorship made the people in the same village and among clans pointed to each other. Okay, the next one. And unidentified anxiety rooted in Jeju people by collective stigma and macro level. Yeah, it is a very sad story. Okay, next one. And why did I call this unidentified anxiety and sorrow as Jejuari랑? Because I name it as Jejuari랑 because it contains a lot of sorrows of Jeju people for a long time, closed in deep silence. Dr. Haesung Jungko named Humphrey. Okay, next one. And for a practical approach, first, I conducted the practical approach at the EXO level. 3 kinds of practical approach. Okay, quick. Yeah. Why? You know, this is white stone. This is evidence of anxiety rooted in Jeju by a collective stigma at EXO level. I define this anxiety as a historical trauma named Jejuari랑. Okay, next one. Okay, next. Actually, next. Yeah. I conducted the 3 practical approaches at EXO level. First, the community center-oriented village healing model, and second, school 경로당 model, and third, expert-oriented village healing model. Okay, next one. Actually, quick. Yeah. Usually, community model is very good. Okay, next one. Yeah, very quick. Yeah. The second one is school and 경로당 model. This is a very good model. And then students take interviews with grandparents, and they showed their experience, and together they visited 경로당 and the presentation at school and 경로당. Okay, that's one. And it is very good model, I think. And next one. And actually, 3 expert-oriented village healing model at EXO level. Actually, we failed. This case conducted at Jeju National University with Professor Ko, an expert approach that randomly selects a village and enters it. The expert-oriented village healing model. Okay, next one. Why? Okay, quick. Yeah. Actually, we did fail. And then why? Why we failed? Okay, next one. Why we failed in conducting an expert model at EXO level? Because the first reason is the lack of safety towards external, outside the experts. Okay, and how can we conduct a successful village healing at the EXO system? Okay, next findings. We should remember. Actually, Jeju is a small island, but has a little different dialect unique to village. Jeju was a clan social community, large extended family community. Jeju lived in clan villages in each village, and that's why we should recover community dignity at EXO level. And White Stone also is the evidence that Jeju needs a village healing at the community level, at EXO level. So these communities can be wary of outside experts as well. How can you approach it for village healing at community EXO level? Okay, next one. And I would like to suggest. I would like to suggest second model. Okay, next one. This is my point for today. Okay, next one. Actually, how can you develop a successful model? And then I conducted a comparative approach with Dr. Haesung Jonggo of East Rock Institute at Witness Center at Pasig. Okay, next one. And Dr. Haesung Jonggo visited Jeju, and we had a seminar, and they invited me to ERI East Rock Institute and Yale and Witness Center in the United States. Okay, next one. Yeah, this is a Witness Center. Yeah, this is a very good model for the elderly, and this Witness Center has a lot of ethnic people, the elderly. And okay, next one. This she's Dr. Haesung Jonggo. Okay, and I met so many elderlies at the age of 90s. Actually, they are the trauma. Okay, next one. Dr. Haesung Jonggo gave me a chance to meet them. Okay, go. Yeah. And then okay, continue to turnover. Yeah, a lot of yeah. But also okay, turnover. Yes. I did it as the same way I did. Okay, turnover. Yeah, she is a Holocaust survivor. Okay, turnover, and she has the same kind of trauma as my father, and also the Holocaust survivor's daughter has the same kind of historical trauma like me. She does not like to. Say I'm daughter of Holocaust survivor. She said, why? It is not comfortable in the United States of America, even in USA. Yeah. Okay. And then I sent it to students to pass it too. Okay. They had interviewed with grandparents. Okay. Over there. Yeah. Okay. Quick. Yeah. Quick. Okay. This one. And findings of comparative approach with Haesung Jonggo with East Rock Institute. First, they have only one thing in common: trauma related to violence or what they experienced as young. And second, they have also historical trauma transmitted to next generation, second generation, and third generation. And third, in Witness Center, they have a very good cultural center and many ethnic groups. But they focused on culture, and fourth, Pasi also emphasized on the culture and language comfortable for the elderly. And finally, I got to conclusion the familiar culture and environment like a home like this can make the elderly or next generation to communicate easily and deep each other. This is a very good wisdom from comparative research. Okay, next one. This is Haesung Jonggo's model. Actually, Dr. Go highlighted, you can see the red letters, cultural and home likeness is very important. This is very important for village healing. and it needs this. We need this environment, yeah, not outside. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then that's why I suggest the school and Gyeongno-dang model for transformative change through intergenerational communication. And I would like to suggest a school Gyeongno-dang model for transformative change between generations through peace education at school and Gyeongno-dang. Okay, next one. Hi, Dr. Esam Jang-go. Hi, Dr. Go. Yeah, you're here. Yes, next lecture. Actually, she's 95 years old now. Yes, actually, it is very early in the USA. And thank you. And after me, you can say congratulatory remark, okay? And next one, for transformative change between generations through peace education at school and Gyeongno-dang model like this. This is my model, okay? Next one. Effects of school and Gyeongno-dang oriented model. First one, transformative changes through interaction between generations. First generation, the elderly with trauma related to, they can ventilate and their sad and depressed feeling oppressed for a long time. Second, third generation or student participants, they can explore for their identity. The additional effect is they can realize through this communication, they can realize the values. So very important point is this one. Peace and human rights, they can realize. What kind of tools? Any tools is okay. Verbal and non-verbal artist tools are very good. Okay, next one. This is model for me, by me. Okay, next one. Actually, this year I'm sorry, Kim Kwang-soo, Superintendent of Jeju Education gave us peace education to many students, teachers, and citizens through voice memory pictures diary exhibition. And Gyeongno-dang is the best paid space for elderly. And actually, therefore, I believe the social integration model for schools and Gyeongno-dang will be the most important trauma healing method for social healing. Okay, next one. Okay, 다 됐어요. Okay.
It is worth recalling the raison d'être of the United Nations, born in the wake of the Second World War to achieve international peace and common prosperity of mankind. UNESCO was the first thematic UN agency to be created, and I quote, to advance the goals of international peace and common prosperity of mankind, for which the United Nations was established, and its mandate was to build peace in the minds of men through the educational, scientific, and cultural relations of the peoples of the world, as enshrined in its constitution, signed on 16th November 1945. Peace is not only the absence of war, it's about dialogue, understanding each other, and about values. This concept, which is called Culture of Peace, was born in 1989 in Côte d'Ivoire at the International Congress of UNESCO in Yamoussoukro. It is an intercultural and intergenerational dialogue. All stakeholders, member states, civil society, NGOs, academia, were invited to participate and contribute to this dialogue. This is about SDG 17, which is about partnership and cooperation. Gender equality is one of the thematic and transversal priorities of UNESCO, and also youth is another thematic and trans-sectorial priority. There is SDG for Youth, which is a group representing the youth at the highest level, for example, for Education 2030, and for other big events like the Pact of the Future. because you are wanted like women, and we need your meaningful and full participation in all decision making. It is only recently, and since the celebration of the 75th anniversary of the UN, that UNESCO has included women in its original founding statement on peace, which now reads, since wars begin in the minds of men and women, it is in the minds of men and women that the defenses of peace must be conducted. Why? Because women represent half of humanity, and they have ruled humanity as mothers, educators, actors, very active in their communities and society, and you are the proof of it, we are the proof of it. Yet, they are used as weapon of war, for example, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and they are victims of terrible violence, as Dr. Mukwege, who has won the Nobel Peace Prize, is a gynecologist who repairs women, babies, mothers, grandmothers in his country. And he wrote one of his books, La Force des Femmes, which is about the strength of women. I personally met him, he's a saint for me, and I was really impressed. UNESCO plays a key role for the promotion of women as agents of change in the Women, Peace and Security agenda. I'm referring to the UN Resolution 1325. So for the resolution of conflicts, the representation remains limited in the major peace negotiations. They only represent 13%. When women are involved in the resolution of conflict, there is 30 to 40% more chance that decisions are implemented. BPW International, which I represent to UNESCO, as well as my friend and sister Ada, she represents in Jeju, and she was the past president of BPW Jeju. So BPW International was born from the will of a woman, Lena Medicine Phillips, after the First World War, to make peace between peoples and to bring cultures together. And she initiated a commission dedicated to peace and intercultural understanding. These are our values, right? BPW federations, in particular of South Korea, had initiated projects on educating children for peace through drawing competitions, and that was in 2015. There was a workshop which was organized at the International Forum of NGOs in cooperation with UNESCO in China, Beijing, in 2016, and you were part of it. And you also could present the Jeju and the diverse community. So BPW International is committed to peace and regularly contributes to the celebration of the International Day of Peace in cooperation with other NGO partners in official partnership with UNESCO. And we had, just last week, this celebration. I was the master of ceremony and I moderated also a panel. And the theme for 2024 is a sharing dance for peace. The area divers have made a film which is included in a mosaic film that was produced for this event, and you'll be able to access it. I will give you the link when we have the new website. So the area women divers are featured in this first mosaic film and video on sharing dance for peace, and we know that they have been very useful in the economy of Jeju Island, and I'm sure that everybody is aware of this, maybe more than of the tragedy really. But this is a good thing. And they are still there. And I also met the oldest women Jeju diver, so which I met invited by the director of culture at UNESCO and cultural heritage. So women represent half of the world population, and their equal and meaningful participation at the youth in the decision-making processes of peace building and for humanity are crucial. One of UNESCO's thematic priorities and objectives is to achieve SDG 5, which is gender equality in and through education. And it starts, of course, with education. Data show that the less educated a country is, the higher the risk for the country to be at war or to face war. The 1974 recommendation, which is a landmark legal instrument first instrument to combine education, peace, human rights, international understanding, and sustainable development, has just been revised. It was revised at the last General Conference. And why? Because, of course, it's a problem with all the crises all over the world. It's called poly-crisis, and so it had to be updated. So it is referred to as Recommendation on Education for Peace, Human Rights and Sustainable Development. The approach is holistic and cross-sectorial, and it is aligned with a lot of SDGs. And the idea is to promote sustainable development and global citizenship too. Culture is also recognized as the backbone of peace. Unite for Heritage was launched in 2015 by the last Director General woman, Irina Bokova. Art creation is recognized as a new tool in the framework of integrated action entitled Empowerment of Youth at the Service of the Construction of Peace. Art and culture as alternative to hate speech on social media is very important. It was a competition of photos again, stories on Instagram, Facebook, and more than 10,000 participants from all over the world, including Syria, and reaching out to 9 million internet users per week. It became a vast movement of youth for peace. And this is the logo. I don't know if you've ever seen this picture, but you should look out on the UNESCO website and see all of what I'm telling you. So in 2022, 150 states unanimously adopted an ambitious declaration for culture at the end of a 3-day conference in Mexico. It's called Mondia Cult. It was convened by UNESCO. The text affirms culture as a global public good. It reflects countries' agreement on a common roadmap to strengthen public policies in this field. The Pact of the Future also adapted this approach to culture and recognized its special role in life and for humanity. Finally, the role of science for peace cannot be underestimated, and we also need more women in science and artificial intelligence for peace. The world needs science, and science needs women. The UN Pact of the Future, which was recently issued, states, and I quote from the UN, "We will accelerate the implementation of our commitments on women, peace and security. The UN recognizes the role of women as agents of peace. We condemn all forms of violence against women and girls who are most at risk of violence in armed conflict, post-conflict situations, and humanitarian emergencies." So in conclusion, I will say that it takes a holistic approach to get peace, to have this dialogue. We need dialogue, we need cooperation, we need values, we need everybody. And so as to build peace in the minds of men and youth, and starting with education at the earliest age and throughout life. Thank you very much.
And I'm Kushida from Hokkaido. I've been teaching there for more than a generation, and for the last 15 years I've been able to bring about 10 students to Jeju for our international summer school with Professor Claude Machon Honore. And Dr. Edok Im sometimes told us about her father's drawings. But last year, next slide please. Next please. This is just abstract. Next please. Yeah, next please, to show that this is it. The last year, last year, her lecture about her father's drawing is very systematic and condensed, and told us all the story about her father's paintings. Please back. No, back. Yeah. And late Kyung Jae-in's paintings are outstandingly noteworthy as candidates for UNESCO's MOW, Memory of the World program. They show vividly and impressively the fear of Jeju in a different sense from the Holocaust. I mean, in the Jeju context, the boundary between perpetrators and victims are blurry, despite the existence of the Northwest Youth Group. Next, please. And this is the paintings and some of them, and please go ahead. And he remained silent, as Dr. Edok already explained, for several decades about Jeju tragedy until the late 2000s. And then her father burst into tears and started to draw pictures of historical memories, especially in the year of 2008. He said, well, I visited his house when he was alive, and I visited Jeju for more than 20 times. And he once said that the Jeju tragedy was more horrible than the Japanese army occupation, even though the violence by the Japanese army was sad enough. And his trauma continued for several decades afterwards. And through his paintings, we have to think about his fear. Next, please. Jeju massacre was the killings by the Korean people, especially the Jeju Islanders. In this sense, as late Im's picture vividly described, it can be considered naval killings. All the Jeju villages, due to that tragedy, were fragmented and beset with doubts and fears. The rulers had everyone in a fearful and suspicious frame of mind. And actually, a couple days ago, I met with Dr. Heston Koh at the Business Center in Hamden, Connecticut, before coming here. He found that she mentioned 8 years ago how her father's drawings were impressive, even among the youngsters compared to official recording, and a good candidate for the Memory of the World program. And Dr. Heston Koh is a world famous scholar, actually, believe it or not. She's in the mid-90s, and in the 60s and 70s, she was a professor of Yale Law School. And look at the right picture. That's the message from Joe Biden for her birthday. And in the middle, that's one of the most famous paintings about tiger, brother, and the woodcutter. Tiger is very important in Korea, right? And it shows Korean filial piety. And and she kindly showed us a lot of her paintings. And so she herself, as well as wonderful educator, she's an artist as well. And such artists found the impressiveness of the Elohim's father's doings. Okay, go ahead, please. So, with these pictures, you know, today here in this room, there are a lot of young people, and together, let's consider the feature of the Jeju tragedy by comparing it with the Rwanda tragedy. I visited Rwanda last July. The notorious tragedy occurred there in the mid-1990s. About 800,000 people were massacred between April and July 1994 in only 100 days, violently by machete, and most of the victims were Tutsis. But it was considered the ethnic conflict between Hutus and Tutsis, but biologically or anthropologically, there is no conspicuous difference between them. Many people were killed by friends and neighbors. There's similarity between the Rwanda's tragedy and Jeju tragedy. And in this sense, it's a typical case of neighbor killings. So, with this background, how can we reconcile people in such horrible conflict? Okay. Next, please. Next. And I visited some of the Rwanda tragedy museums at the Narama at the Yamata village. Yeah. Next, please. And so, let's think about the reconciliation process in such situation. And Dr. Edo already explained to us, anger from the victim side, anger, hatred persists among the Tutsi people, the victim side. And how can we attain the reconciliation? By the way, I'm a civil scholar, and I'm a jack of all trades, but reparations and reconciliation issue is one of the toughest subjects I'm pursuing for more than last generation. So how can we attain reconciliation after this horrible tragedy? This is a common challenge as in the Jeju tragedy that we learned from late Im's drawings. And I met with the Reverend Ludaisier, and his recent famous book's title is Reconciliation as My Lifestyle. That's a very impressive quest of religious reconciliation. But as a reparation scholar, I cannot attain the religious reconciliation like the Amish forgiveness. However, it is suggestive in the sense that it shows the road to reconciliation. And as a reparation scholar, I add the role of moral and legal responsibility of perpetrators in the process. Yes, please. And this is in the middle, that's the book of his recent book, and I visited his church. And next, please. And on the other hand, in South Africa, the amnesty approach was taken, as all of you know, by Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu in the 1990s. That approach is also suggested to think about reconciliation, but they stress the importance of perpetrators' regret, atonement, and moral repentance towards the goal of reconciliation. The same thing can be said about the fusion penitentiary approach in the 1950s, taken by South Carolina, who became a prime minister afterwards. In this sense, moral and legal reparations approach is required, I think, in addition to the religious lofty approach. And President Kagame himself, the Kagame government itself, persecuted so many Hutus perpetrators at government court. Next, please. So in this way, final words, there is much in common between both naval killing cases of Jeju and Rwanda tragedies. Communities have been destroyed for decades, and it is still hard to find a way of reconciliation in such cases. It's still hard to find the way to reconciliation. Through late Kyong Im's paintings, the tragedy of naval killing shows us one of the toughest moral, religious, and legal challenges in the 21st century, 21st world of omnipresent hatreds and wars across the globe. Several thoughts and efforts of reconciliation have been analyzed as a multifaceted way of practicing peace education. The meaning of reparation should also be examined for educational purposes. Next, please. So, the commonality between Rwanda genocide and East Asian tragedies, naval killings, violence, and spiritual wounds for several decades. So we need to admit the religion's role and lawyer's role for reconciliation process, including historical education of past injustice and responsibility. How can we make communities with collaboration from antagonistic relationship? That's a tough agenda. The community building is still a great challenge in the 21st century, and reconciliation is still unfinished business in both cases. There's a lot to learn from the impressive Kyong Im's paintings for future education. That's the end. And this is the next one is the symbol in Rwanda, the Ubuntu, the community, and the Ubuntu, humanity. So how to build community by humanity is a key word in African continent, and it's also the key notion across the world. Thank you for your attention.